Sully, how you doing, man?
The lads are up against Belgium.
I tell you what, I have not watched 1 second of the Euro tournament. Although
Come
I did
on,
watch
man.
the United States game. I did watch the U.S. game the other night against Ecuador, and that was really exciting.
Oh, man, Euro 2016 is awesome.
Yeah, but you got to root for the boys in red, white, and blue, man. There's a different tournament going on.
I know. I caught, I think, one of those games.
Yeah, Copa America. I think this is the third time, I think, in the United States men's national team history that they've advanced this far in a tournament of this size. So they're on a good run.
Nice, getting us psyched up for fall soccer season.
Yeah, man. Top, what do you say? Like top peanut butter shelf? That's your line, right?
Oh, yeah. Where Mama hides the Thin Mints. That's what the guys on SportsCenter say.
Yeah, good
yeah, man,
stuff.
it's gonna be here before you know it. Get some downtime while you can. Happy Father's Day, by the way. Another new one, another new Frankel. How's the little guy doing?
We're doing good. We're doing good. Dad's learning some new sports here. We tried with my older one, with my toddler. We're trying something called jogging. Might be called yogging. It might be a soft J, but basically, I just run around the neighborhood pushing a stroller, and it's a lot harder than it looks. You know, you drive around, you see these in-shape housewives doing it, and I have to give them a lot more credit because I got to tell you, it's a little tougher running with a stroller than running without.
Maybe is that the Swedish version of jogging? Jogging?
I believe so. It's the soft J.
Good stuff, man. How's little Bodie Frankel? Just entered the world recently, right? When was he born?
He'll be exactly 2 weeks old at 10:21 this morning. So two Saturday mornings ago he was born. Yeah, he's doing well.
You're not getting much sleep then, right?
Yeah, it's not so bad. I like to prefer to think of it this way. We're just 3 kids away from a starting 5, so I'm not sure I can talk the wife into that, but we'll see. We got our backcourt set. And now we need to work on some forwards and maybe a center.
There you go. You got Pete Thompson giving you a little break there at SNJ today?
Yeah, Pete Thompson was gracious enough to help out last week and a little bit this week as well. And I know South Jersey viewers love to see his face. Obviously, Pete, longtime fixture at NBC 40, and always has a lot of fun when he does it. And certainly it's great for me to have a guy that I can turn to if I need a couple days off. So I know Pete had a lot of fun with it last week. He was able to cover the ShopRite LPGA Classic as that wrapped up a couple weekends ago. We were hoping to cover some Carpenter Cup baseball, but really a tough tournament for both of the local teams in our coverage area. Obviously, the Tri-Cape team losing in the first round. And then we also had our eye on the Olympic Colonial team, which did win a game, but then lost in the second round. And, of course, you got to win 2 to get to Citizens Bank Park. So maybe next year for the local teams.
Yeah, Mike, give us some of your reaction on the spring season. We just had on Kevin Minnick and Mike McGarry, and talking about what a great spring season it was, mostly for you, except for that line drive you caught in that one game right in the chest.
Yeah, that was early on in the season. I think it was Vineland versus Millville.
That was the low light of the season, I'm guessing.
That was a scary moment, but no, that aside, you're right, Sully. It was a great season, and sort of a tough ending, I think, for a lot of the local teams. It's that old cliche that only one of these teams can end their seasons with a win, and you hate to end with a loss, but that's just the reality of it for so many of these teams. You had Ocean City and St. Augustine both having great seasons. A little bit different. Ocean City was kind of considered the heavy favorite the whole way. St. Augustine, maybe, for the first time in the history of St. Augustine baseball, they had to be talked about as an underdog a little bit. They lost Mike Vastoria to an injury before the season. They go into the playoffs as the 6th seed, but give Mike Bailone and the Hermits a lot of credit. I mean, they advanced all the way to the state final, and they just sort of run into, quite honestly, I guess a better team on that day in Seton Hall. So 2 big storylines there, Ocean City baseball, St. Augustine baseball. I'm sure you guys have been talking about that. And then you can look at the other side, softball. I mean, EHT, just an outstanding season. And, talk about a bittersweet ending. I mean, undefeated to that point. And, again, they run into a hot pitcher there in Watchung Hills and lose in the state final. But I was there with a camera when they won South Jersey over Eastern, and I know you were there as well. It was probably the wildest softball game I've ever had a chance to cover. I mean, both teams just trading leads in extra innings. I think it went 13 innings long. EHT was down 2 going into their half of the 13th, and to come back and win that game, man, that's a moment I'll never forget.
Yeah, sort of a photographer and cameraman's dream, that game. I mean, I think I took about 400 photos of that one game. I'm sure you had a lot of editing to do after that one.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I think it's no secret at SNJ today, we have to tape our show a little bit early, so it's not really truly live yet. So I was sort of up against it. That was a noon start, and that game ended up going about 3 hours, if I'm not mistaken. And then I
a little over.
Drive to Millville. And you want to talk about, so many pictures you took. I had literally, Sully, 2 seconds left on my card that I used to shoot in the camera after I shot some of that celebration. So It was either going to be that I got the finish or I didn't get the finish. And sometimes, as they say, it's better to be lucky than good.
There you go. Yeah, it was kind of neat how EHC softball sort of captivated that whole community and that whole school. And one of the lasting images to me of this spring season was, and really this whole school year, is the way these student sections sort of rally around their teams. And Egg Harbor Township took 5 busloads of kids up to Kane University for that state final, which is amazing.
Yeah, that's not a short drive either. I mean, that's a solid, hour 45, 2 hours from Egg Harbor Township. But you're right, great crowds following EHT. But that's what high school sports is all about, really. I mean, you talk about some of the big sports, football, certainly boys basketball. Those sports get the crowds throughout the season. But, you have some of these other sports. I don't want to call them fringe sports because they're not, but they're just maybe not as popular as the footballs and the basketballs of the world. But when you have a team get on a run like that, like an EHT softball, like an Ocean City baseball, I know tons of fans went up to Toms River for that championship game. I mean, that's what it's all about. You sort of capture the imagination capture the spirit of the community. Everybody comes out to support the team, and it really does become a community event. So always great to see that. It's
kind of neat now. These schools have sort of an informal competition going on as to who can outdo the other with their fan support and their outfits and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's always fun too. I mean, for the longest time, it was always the Richland Rowdies,
right?
But they're more of just a specific group for basketball. Certainly, they go to football games, and I know I saw a lot of that student body at baseball games. But you're right, some of these other schools getting in the mix. I know Ocean City formed that official Raider Nation a few years back, and they certainly come out in droves. And some of these other schools too. I mean, we're talking so much about EHT softball, but mainland softball got on a heck of a run too, and I know fans were pouring out for those games, advancing all the way to a South Jersey final. Some other teams maybe a little bit outside your coverage area, but I had a chance to track down West Deptford, who won its first softball title in about 20 years. So, yeah, across the board, across South Jersey, a lot of fans pouring out to see these games, which you love to see.
Any particular game or moment stand out most for you in terms of the spring sports season?
Well, I think it has to be the Egg Harbor Township softball finish. And then I think the same week, earlier in the week, it was that rubber game between Ocean City and mainland baseball. They split during the regular season. They meet up in the South Jersey Group 3 semifinals. And, it was a tough play to end the game on. It was such a well-played game. And then so many times, though, Sully, you see it, a game like that just sort of ends with a mistake. And, I think a ball got away from a mainland infielder. It was an overthrow, and Ocean City runner goes from first all the way around to score. And that was a thrilling moment, obviously, for Ocean City because mainland's been the top dog. Let's be honest, in that bracket in the last couple of years. State champs 2 years ago, another South Jersey champ last year. So for Ocean City to not only beat its rival, but advance, past the two-time defending champion in such a dramatic way, that's certainly one of the big moments of the spring.
Talking with Mike Frankel, SNJ today. Mike, you get any reprieve tomorrow for Father's Day, or are you on baby duty?
I get a little bit of reprieve maybe during the kids' naps, but no, there's no reprieve in the morning. But no, it's all good stuff, and certainly looking forward to getting into the summer sports schedule here. I know it's a little bit slower for a lot of us, but you get a chance to tell some of these feature stories. I caught up with the Ocean City Nor'easters women's team the other day, and if you're a soccer fan, you obviously know of the Ocean City Nor'easters at the Jersey Shore in the summertime. They've been there for about 20 years now, but they got a women's team going now, so stuff like that. I'm going to go check out this Jersey Shore Powder Puff League, which I know you've covered in the past.
Yeah,
and,
man.
A lot of these female coaches in the area, they go out and show their skills that they can still compete on the football field. So we'll have that coming up next week on SNJ today as well. So yeah, summertime, a chance to maybe tell some of these more in-depth stories. But I love doing that stuff too.
Yeah, it's definitely there's definitely some outstanding athletes in that flag football league, Jersey Shore Powder Puff League, and it's cool. Cool idea started by Barbie Carney about 6 years ago. It's a charity league. They raise money for some different medical charities. So really cool stuff going on there. Got lifeguards coming up. So there's plenty to keep us busy. And then before you know it, we'll be right back to fall sports previews in about 2 months here.
Yeah, please. Let's not race there. Let's enjoy the summer a little bit. You mentioned those lifeguard races, though. I've always loved covering those. I mean, you want to talk about an event unique to South Jersey. There's not too many places in the nation that have those kind of competitions. I think Florida does a few of them, and also California. But Jersey Shore, Friday night, summertime, I mean, the place to be is on a beach in Cape May County or Atlantic County. And, it usually starts off with the race in Brigantine, sort of builds up as they go through, Atlantic City's race and Margate's race and Wildwood's race. And it usually ends, obviously, with the South Jersey Championship. So for the listeners out there, if you haven't been to see one of those lifeguard competitions, check it out. I mean, it's a lot of fun. They're quick. They're at night on the beach. I mean, it does not get much better than that.
Yeah, they only last about an hour, but you really do get to see some great athletes, a lot of former high school athletes in different types of sports, soccer, swimming, and really impressive athletes, the way they row those boats. I mean, a lot of times it's choppy waves and they're almost capsizing. It's pretty intense for about an hour or so.
And some of these guys, I mean, they're going on to do great things. Joe Malloy from Wildwood Crest, he's going to represent the United States in the Summer Olympics coming up in a couple months. I mean, you go back a few years, Joe Malloy was competing for Wildwood Crest Beach Patrol in these lifeguard races. I think he won at least maybe one or two South Jersey championships in the swim. So these guys, I mean, they're summer lifeguards, but there's so much more. As you said, they're college athletes, former high school athletes, and in a case like a Joe Malloy, I mean, here he goes to the Olympics this year. So pretty cool deal there.
Good stuff, Mike. We're up against the break. Got to let you go, but enjoy the rest of the weekend. Enjoy your Father's Day, and maybe you can get a quick burger or something in while the boys are napping.
All right, thanks, guys. Always great catching up. Enjoy the weekend.
All right, man. Thanks, Mike. That was Mike Frankel, SNJ today.